lunchtime. Now, as the News of the World hacking scandal escalated with the resignation of John Yates, one of the Met's top counter-terrorism officers, there have also been suggestions that David Cameron, who will fly home tonight from his South Africa trade trip tonight, should even consider bowing out himself. Labour MP Dennis Skinner has branded the PM Dodgy Dave, saying it's getting closer and closer to the Prime Minister and the centre of government. So, bearing in mind that Met Chief Sir Paul Stephenson has resigned for his associations with hacking suspect Neil Wallace, should Cameron resign as well?
Oh, it's like the playground. I mean, honestly, seeing as all this started on Labour's watch, hello, you shouldn't be doing that. I think you should... They're like children. There's whole massive things going on in this world at the moment that we need our Prime Minister for, frankly. And I don't think he should yet. There's going to be an investigation. And the whole business about employing somebody to do his PR, whatever, that's PR. It's got nothing to do with how he, is running the rest of the country. And maybe, it's all... There's so much to come out. And I honestly, seriously think it's getting hysterical.
But
now.
do you think the fact that, obviously he hired someone who has then become embroiled in all this, that he's tainted by association?
Well, the trouble is, this is the thing nowadays, isn't it? You can be tainted by association, and be completely innocent, and everybody assumes you're guilty, and actually you're not guilty until you're proven guilty. Okay. So let's all just calm down a bit and see what happens. But no, I don't think he should resign.
But he is extremely guilty of really bad judgment.
Well,
because actually, when he hired Andy Coulson, he knew why he wasn't working for the News of the World anymore. And I think, I don't think there's anything totally criminal in that. And I think, yeah, he might as well resign because everybody else has. Let's just let everybody just resign. Right. And it is getting a little bit insane. But he should, maybe he should say something to appease the opposition. But it is quite rich of them to be calling for his resignation just because he did employ Andy Coulson. He was wrong in doing that, but, I don't know what he can do. I'm not quite sure who would benefit, what would be the advantage of him resigning now? And, maybe he should come back. He should be here, and he is coming back early, but he should come back and say something and sort it out. I know he's recalled or said that Parliament have got to stay a little bit longer and sit. Yeah. So, I don't know what the advantage would be of him resigning at this point.
But can
Not
you,
yet.
I take your opinion, but can you see why some people would think that? Because obviously we've now lost, a whole media empire is in the process of crumbling. There's top people in the police that have handed in their resignation.
Well, yeah,
but they're not necessarily... They've handed in their resignation because everybody's calling for resignations all over the place. These poor people actually might have been completely innocent of any knowledge of what was going on.
Do you not think it's a knee-jerking situation anyway? Everybody is doing that at the moment. And actually, I think, do the public give a damn about this? I think everybody's sick to death. It's selling newspapers, that's why. But, there are other things in this country that need looking at. There are much more important things in the world at the moment. And I think there's going to be inquiries. Everybody's going to be looked at. Stop the resignations. David Cameron should be looked at, absolutely. But if it resigns, he's going to do nothing. Put it to one side, let the inquiries be taking place, and let's look after the country right now.
Yeah, well, it is important, though. It is important. Yeah. It is important that you get to the bottom of who was responsible, who knew about it, and what will happen. Yes, exactly. Yes. So no more resignations are required as yet until we actually... And those people should pay the price, and it should be really, really harsh penalties. But I don't like all this game of political football with the politicians just baying for blood for the opposition. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, because they're all... Let's be honest, that's the nature of power, is things go on that you and I'll never know about, and this happens all the time. And as you say, Labour's started this, and they're the ones sitting there smugly going, oh, I think it's...
Well, they didn't do the investigation when they should have. Somebody should have done a proper inquiry years ago, and it has all surfaced now, but... and
it is good, isn't it, that the press don't get...
But don't keep saying, because it's been going on for ages and it's always happened. That doesn't make it all right.
No, it
doesn't make any of it all right.
Do you think as well, obviously, that this is all part of the rough and tumble of politics, that, there are issues that'll come and go and that one party will blame another for mistakes from the past and mistakes from the present. Do you think that it obviously goes without saying that an investigation needs to take place with regards to the involvement of the police and newspapers and perhaps some members members of the government. But do you think it should be behind closed doors now, in so much as rather than the media? Because if you think about the fact that the Murdoch empire looks like it could well be crumbling, but now you have other papers obviously wanting to fill that void and using this in a way to sell papers, MPs using it in order to further their career. Don't you think now that absolutely we should just move to one side, yes, report on it, but not page after page after page? We know what the issues are, look into it and then report on it afterwards.
That's just a media selling newspapers. I think there's bigger things to come, and I think we're being blinded by what's happening right now, and I think we're going to find that something major is just about to burst. That's my feeling in my waters, ladies and gentlemen.
We're all covering each other. OK, it is competition. Now, our first guest became known to millions as Kelly Taylor in EastEnders, but her life was changed forever in 2008 when her brother Ben was killed in a brutal stabbing. Ever since, she's worked tirelessly to raise awareness about knife crime, but now she's also dipping her toes back into the industry that made her famous with roles like this one. Please welcome Brooke Kinsella.
Cake. Thank you
You're
so much.
very welcome. Make sure you take it with you, because we'll just eat it if you leave it behind.
Oh no, there'll be none left for you to eat, I promise.
So was it nice to get back into acting again? Because obviously you've had a wee bit of time away from our screens.
It was really nice. I mean, it's only a small cameo role, but to work with Bradley Walsh was amazing. And to be pregnant, it was strangely really enjoyable. I just kept walking around, rubbing my belly.
It's enjoyable? Because you can take the balloon out and go back.
It makes you feel really skinny after. If you want to feel skinny quick, just put a big pregnancy belly on for a few hours. It's brilliant.
Balloon-like.
I think the way I was sitting, actually, wasn't too... Yeah, for how small I am as well. But it was really good fun, and it's nice to kind of get back into it.
And is that the only thing that you've done? Have you got any other things lined up?
I did quite a few things this year. I did Holby City and Missing, but funny enough, everything I'm playing involves me having a child, being pregnant. So, and I think I'm just feeling a little bit emotional because it's my birthday. I'm feeling like I'm getting old. So,
how old are you?
28.
Oh, so old!
28. Yeah, it's almost 30.
Now you are going to be getting the best Prezi ever, I hear. Congratulations on your MBE.
Thank you very much. It's a lovely honour. I keep giggling to myself every time I think about it because I honestly don't feel that deserving of it. It's not just me that does this work. We all know there's countless people out there who fight really hard, you know, to kind of create awareness about knife crime, so I do want to share it with all of them. But it is lovely, and I do need to find an outfit to get to the palace with.
Tell us about it, though. Tell us what you have actually been doing on the road and everything.
Obviously, last year I did some work for the Home Office and travelled around the country looking at lots of projects that help deter knife crime and just looking at things that work and things that might be a bit outdated and trying to get them funding, really.
You wrote a big report on it, though, didn't you?
I wrote a 60-page report. It's like going back to school, actually. It was all my own words. I wanted to make sure there's no point doing a job if you don't do it properly, and I didn't want to put words in my own mouth. I wanted to do it myself, and we got £18 million of funding this year.
That's
which
wonderful.
It's just good. So, yeah,
I mean, what is the main message that you're going out there with? Because you're going into schools, talking to kids. What is it? What are you actually telling them?
I think, funny enough, it reflects on your first topic about Chantel. And basically, a lot of the kids I speak to, they don't see a future for themselves, really. They don't think a day ahead, and they're not aware that their actions have massive consequences, not on, you know, families like mine, but on their own family, on their lives. You know, if they commit a crime, it's their employment and their whole life. And it's just trying to give them that message of choice. You can make better choices, there's different paths, and just think about what you're doing because it will affect your future and lots of other people. So education for me is my passion.
Do you think your age helps? Because it's one thing a government having an initiative and spending millions of pounds and men in suits telling kids to behave themselves, but the fact that you've experienced this firsthand and you're more on their wavelength, do you think they're more likely to listen to you?
Completely. I mean, I'm doing my posh voice today, but you just saw how I normally talk in the Law and Order clip. So when I go in and speak to the kids, you know, I speak as a 28-year-old girl who I think I'm 16 in my head, so I can relate to them. But I tell you what, if you put my mum and dad in front of a group of kids and they explain, you know, the devastation this can cause, the kids don't move. They do not flinch.
Do your parents do that?
They do. We all do that. My whole family and many other families. You know, we spend a lot of time travelling across the country into schools, just letting kids know, you know, what it does to families. And I'm really proud of the work that we do.
Do you get frustrated when you come up against MPs who won't listen or don't understand what you're talking about?
It can be frustrating, not just MPs, anyone in general. I think, you know, unless it happens to you, obviously it's really hard to understand what this does, and 99% of the population are really caring and understanding and supportive, but you do get people who don't want to listen, they're blinkered, and they think it's not my problem, so I won't get involved, and I think that's something we need to change.
And do you... Because David Cameron's been very supportive of you, hasn't he? And do you think this has got... You've got to carry on doing this, obviously, presumably. You've just got to keep on and on and on, haven't you? At government, at MPs, at whoever's in power, really.
Of course, and it's not for David Cameron, it's for Ben we do it, and, you know, we've made some massive changes in 3 years, you know, as the group of people who are fighting against this, but until we stop reading about it every week, I don't think anybody's going to stop.
Do you think Ben would be proud of you going to the palace?
He'd be in hysterics, he'd be laughing at me, I know, he'd be playing practical jokes and all sorts, but I think he'll be proud, and it's for him, you know, we're very proud of him.
So when are you going to get it?
I don't know, actually. I've not been told. I thought it was a joke from my dad. I still do a little bit, actually. I thought it was just a practical joke. But I think around Christmas time, so it gives me time to plan what I'm going to wear.
And what you're going to say.
And what I'm going to say, and practice my posh voice, most definitely.
Talking about something else you did 71 degrees north.
Yes.
Was that the
brave.
most... Yeah, was it really frightening?
It was hell. I did it with, you know, your lovely Lisa, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone who's going to watch it, but it was an amazing experience, but, you know, it was probably one of the toughest things I've ever done, I'll say that, yeah.
Was it scary, though? Was it really scary, or pretend scary?
Not at all pretend. I was thinking it's going to be pretend, it's TV, not at all pretend, and you'll see all that when it comes out. You'll see just how tough it was and how scared we all are, I think.
And is it the cold that gets to you? Is that the worst part, or is it the task?
I think if somebody says to you you're going into minus 25 degrees, you can't even comprehend that. And it's amazing how quickly you get used to it, but I don't think I'd ever put myself back in that situation.
Well, Brooke, it's lovely to see you again, and really heartfelt congratulations on your MBE. We look forward to seeing you again on our screens with Brooke and Salah. OK, time for a breather, but stick around, because after this break, we'll be telling you, Mum and Dad, look away now, how to have a 4-month-long orgasm. Yes, I know, I'm exhausted at the thought. We'll see you in a bit.